All right.
Great. How is your day going?
My day is fantastic. It's 9 o'clock in the morning here, so it's on. Just got up at 6, went for a bike ride, and full of life, ready to go.
Wonderful. So, since we just entered into New Year, I would like to start with your goals for New Year, your vision. What's big for you in 2016?
Well, in 2016, of course, I've been looking forward to writing a book.
Mm-hmm.
It's been something I've wanted to do for 5 years, and over that 5 year period, every time I started to write, there was some sort of mental block. And then I would
Mm-hmm.
talk to someone about writing the book, and they would become very negative, like, why would you want to write a book? Or who's going to read it? Or, do you have the money to, all that kind of stuff. So
Yes.
therefore, I took on all that negativity. So I stopped writing. But in December of 2015, had a lot of issues, a lot of things happened in my life, and I decided, okay, I'm not going to listen to the world, no more negativity. I'm going to write the book, and I'm happy to say the book is finished. It's at the publisher, will be released into the world in February.
Wow, congratulations. What is
Yeah,
the
really,
name?
really excited.
What is the name? What is the title of the book?
The title of the book is Bring Your A Game.
Uh-huh.
So it's going to
Wonderful.
bring your
And
A game,
do you mind
and
to just elaborate a little bit on what's it about, what benefits will readers get out of your book?
okay, so the book is about because I'm an ex-professional basketball player.
Yes.
The cliche has always been take your game to the next level, bring your A game, and for me, A game means whatever you have to bring in order to get the best results. You got to bring it, not just once a week or once a month. You got to have consistency and momentum. And I've highlighted the A's that have been very prevalent to me in my life. So
Mm-hmm.
the A's that mean so much. So as you can see behind me, I've got them on the board. So number one is abandonment, because I was abandoned as a child. It's about people reject you, you lose your job, finances, bad health. How do you bounce back from that?
Mm-hmm.
Adoption, because I was adopted. It's important that not only if you get adopted or you go into a new situation, it's not them taking you, but you have to adopt them into your life and into your world. So the A's, attitude, is your altitude. So I've got 12 A's that I'm going to highlight in every chapter. At the end of every chapter, there's an exercise for you to work on so
Mm-hmm.
that you then can elevate your game.
Wonderful. And do you mind, Eric, tell us what did it take to become a professional athlete? So many people try, but only, 1% get there.
Look, a lot of people can say that it takes a lot of skill, um, it takes a lot of hard work, dedication, sacrifice. But not only that, it also takes the passion to continue to keep going even when times get hard. And what a lot of times people do is they look at what will it take in order to become successful. So if you want to be a professional basketball player and you go and you find out, you've got to, go to the gym, you've got to eat right, you got to do all these kind of things. My philosophy from a child in South Central Los Angeles was whatever it takes for me to get out of the hood, to get out of poverty, to get out of negativity, to get out of unemployment, whatever it takes, it's really none of my business. Okay. I can't be worried about what it's going to take to get there. I have to be worried about, okay, having the staying power to get to the end. So whatever it takes, none of my business, I'm going to get going. So
Yes.
I've had nine knee operations. I've had a
Wow.
hip replacement. I've got chronic arthritis. If I would have known that that was going to be the result of me playing basketball, perhaps my mindset would have been, I don't want to go through that pain. So therefore, I'm not going to do it,
Mm-hmm.
which meant I would have stayed in the hood. So it's really about not caring about what it takes to get there, but knowing that it's worth it if you put the hard work, dedication, sacrifice, and it takes a lot of luck as well.
Mm-hmm. And also, Eric, I know that there are many people that have similar skills but their mindset is not there. How did you work on your mindset, and what was your major breakthrough?
Okay, so when I was growing up in South Central Los Angeles, my parents they adopted me, and they were in their 40s, and they had a very an older generation of friends that they were around. And one of the things that I would do was I would sit and I would listen to some of the stories and some of the things that they were saying. And there was a barbershop that I used to go to. And at the barbershop back in the hood, you have all these people sitting there talking about politics. They talk about, being black or being African American. They talk about race relations. They talk about job, unemployment, world, traveling. And I would sit there because I had a little shoe stand, and I would, shine people's shoes, get paid a little bit of money. But I would listen to them and go, it would be great to maybe one day travel the world, or I wonder what it'd be like to, visit the White House, or, I'd like to get out of the neighborhood. So it was all about the proximity of the conversation that I was in. And it really strengthened my mind to want to be able to do something and to go more places in life. So from a young age, I was like a sponge. And the barbershop, that was the place to go, boy. That was the place to go. It was an awesome environment.
Wow, interesting. And so, Eric, what's your biggest passion nowadays? What are your coaching consist of? Who are your clients?
Okay, so my clients range from troubled teens in high school all the way to companies like Remax, Hardcores. I just came back from the States a month ago. I worked at Procter and Gamble. I do a lot of Fortune 500 companies. My message is, if you want to be the best, then you have to think like the best. The mindset of a champion, whether it be in sales or whether it be in marketing or leadership. My whole thing's about resilience, bouncing back. And the fact that I've come from South Central Los Angeles to be able to go 13 different countries and travel the world, I think it's a testament that it doesn't matter about your race, your religion, where you came from, how much money your parents have. It's all about, what are you prepared to do to empower your life? And I think in America right now, with all of the things that are happening, the economy, terrorism, unemployment, education, I think that, I have a really profound message that I would love to deliver to as many people as I can, that, hey, you know what? It doesn't matter where you are right now.
Yeah.
You can get to that next level. You can dig deep. We were born to win. I mean, we got passion, we got purpose, we got some stuff in here that we just got to get it out. But we get bogged down in the past. And I want to free people to be able to dream bigger than they ever dreamed in life.
Wonderful. Eric, you mentioned about passion and purpose. So many people struggle with finding their purpose in life. And if they don't have a purpose, they can't really take actions. How do you help them to find purpose?
Because I identify within themselves what it is that would drive them to do something, even if they weren't getting paid for it. You see, that's where your passion is. So I do a lot of speaking. And if someone said to me, hey, Eric, we're going to give you all the money in the world that you would never have to work again, what would you do? And I would say, that would be great. But even if I had all the money in the world, I would still go and speak, because that's what I was born to do. And where your passion lies, that's where your ability is. And if you combine passion and ability, you find your purpose. And once you get those three, you're going to take action, because you know that everything that you're doing every day is something that's a part of your DNA. It's who you are. It was who you were designed to be. It's your destiny.
Wonderful. Eric, so many people also, even if they found their passion, they are having hard time in the morning to motivate themselves to take actions. What can they do? What steps should they take to be motivated?
That's easy. You got to have a plan. You have to have a plan. So what I do with my clients and the companies that I work with is I help them to provide a daily playbook that they can then say every single day, these are the things that I must do in order for me to become successful. And what happens is, after a day, after a week, after a month, that playbook actually becomes a part of who they are and what they do. And if you don't have structure and discipline in the start of your action plan, then you have chaos. So that's how I've always lived my life, is making sure that I have some structure, which gives me momentum. That momentum gives me consistency, and that consistency gives me confidence that I'm on the right track, because then I can adjust if things not going well. And I think that's what lets a lot of people down, is not having a plan. And sometimes people don't have anyone to hold them accountable for their actions. And that's why a good coach, and that's what I do, is I hold people accountable for their action plan so they can get that consistency and momentum so that they can reach their goals.
So, Eric, since you mentioned about coaching, is everybody coachable, or some people are not ready for your coaching?
Everybody is coachable. Every single person on the planet needs someone to push one button. And a lot of times, the button isn't about the technique, the button isn't about the X and the O's, but the button is helping people discover what is your core beliefs, your values, and your why. When you can discover what's in here, it's a lot easier to coach them to move out of here into action zone. And I've had a lot of clients who, had some big goals and big dreams, and the only thing that was stopping them was their belief that it was possible. And that goes all the way back to when they were a child, when their parents or a teacher or someone said, "You're a loser." And a lot of people hold on to that. And I held on to that for a very long time. As soon as I was able to let that go, skies were the limit.
Wonderful. So, do you also, Eric, work with people when you coach them? Are your clients mostly athletes, business people, teenagers, as you said, or all of the above? Who is your ideal client?
Okay, my ideal client is anyone who's serious about making some improvements in their lives. So I go through a rigorous structure of identifying exactly how serious my clients are. But I must say, over the past 2 to 3 years, I've been dealing mainly with corporates, people who are particularly in sales, who particularly real estate, anyone who's doing any kind of selling, because selling is not just about the actual product that you're selling. Selling is about selling yourself, your confidence. Now, because I played professional sport, I had to sell myself every time I stepped on the basketball court. I had to sell to my opposition that you are not going to beat me. I had to sell to them that today, if you want to beat me, you're going to have to bring your A game. And I can remember playing against guys bigger, stronger, taller, faster than me. But on the day when I looked at them, I gave them posture. And posture is about no matter what, I'm giving 100%. Now, when you can believe in all of that, you can sell. You can walk on water. You can skydive. You can have great relationships. You can do anything you want. But it all comes back to who you are as a core. So I would say corporately, that's probably where my main clients are.
Eric, so how can a person become more self-confident and sell themselves as the best catch?
Listen, it's really all about going back to identifying what it is that you want to portray to the world, as far as your legacy. What is it that you want to leave? And I truly believe that we all were born to empower and enrich the lives of other people. When you can put other people's aspirations and goals a little bit higher on the priority list, then you allow yourself to give more of yourself. And when you can give more of yourself, it's just a good feeling. It's a I'm doing this not just for me, but for someone else. And in my life, the reason why I've gotten to where I am right now, because I've come across a lot of people who push themselves past what was norm or what was required in order to help me in my life. My basketball coach would drive me home from practice after practice. And he was a little short white Italian man, drove his BMW into South Central Los Angeles and looked at me and said, "Hey, that was a great day." Like he put his life on the line, and he instilled in me a belief that in order to do more, you have to go more.
Wonderful. So, is there any tips you would like to get to our readers so they become convinced they need a coach, they need to take actions, and it's really almost impossible to achieve something great without a coach, because any Olympian, any professional athlete, everybody have a coach. So how can they change their mindset and start believing first step is a coach, and then they will take more steps under their mentor?
The first step is identifying that you want more in your life. Because once you can identify you want more in your life, then you're going to seek the knowledge, and you'll be thirsty to actually try to find a way to elevate your life. And that's the first thing, is basically self-reflection, self-prospection. And then once you do that, then it's about going out and finding someone who resonates with you. Someone who you have an affinity with, somebody who you can talk to and you feel as if you can be yourself. Once you can identify that person, then it's about, okay, working out with that person what it is that you want. And sometimes people set their goals, and their goals really aren't high enough. I tell people, most people in life, they don't fail because they aim too high and miss. They fail in life because they aim too low and they hit. So your goals need to be, I call them stupid goals, because the wilder, the bigger the goal, the more you're going to work to get there. And even if you don't reach that part, you're still going to be at a really, really, really good level. And so it's about finding someone, setting those goals, having an action plan that fits in with that person's lifestyle. You don't want to, ask them to do too much. You must have some timetables of when you want to get some stuff done. Then you have to check in with your coach and your mentor to make sure you're hitting those goals. You can adjust those goals along the way. And at the end, it's all about making sure that at the end of that process, you're feeling like you're making some strides to getting closer and closer to the end.
Wonderful. So, Eric, I know that every successful person has some kind of personal rituals every single day to keep them in routine and on track. What are your rituals?
Well, I try to get up every morning at about 5 o'clock and either go for a walk or ride a bike or go to the gym, which actually gives me a chance to, sort of debrief myself. I think it's a good place to get the serotonin and the endorphins working in my mind so I can be ready for the day. I'll come home, I have a really nice breakfast. I do a little bit of reading, do personal development, read some books that I have, check out some audio, some YouTubes, and then I basically start my day. During the middle of the day, I like to take an hour break and just recalculate, regroup, refocus on what's happened the first part of the day. Leads me to the second half of my day. Evening time, come home, debrief, chill, relax, listen to some music, do some reading before bed, spend time with the family, and then start all over again. So I try to balance my day so I have, time for myself, work, time for myself, work, time for myself and family, exercise, eat right, and sleep. That's what it is. And on weekends, I try not to do anything, overtaxing to my brain. Try to spend time with the family, and just try to keep that routine very simple.
Very simple. It sounds like you have very intense day. For you, it's simple, I
Yes, yeah,
guess.
yeah. Look, it's productive. It's productive, but simple. And I love the idea that I can go and I can speak to 350 people or 500 people or 1,000 people at an event or a seminar, and I love that I can share my passion, my purpose, and my energy. I love the testimonials. I love the way that people interact with me, the interaction, the humor, the emotion, the content, and I love the way that at the end of a presentation, people will come up to me and say, what you just said, you made it simple, you made it plain, you made it fun, but now I have a clear, more precise understanding of how I can elevate my life. And for
Mm-hmm.
me, that's what I love doing.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful. Eric, so what is success to you personally?
Look, success for me is knowing that no matter what the situation, no matter what the circumstances, no matter what the challenge, no matter what the obstacles or the pitfalls are, success is knowing that you hung in there, you took the knocks, you took the bruises. Um, yes, you might have got knocked down. You didn't stay parked on the side of the road and let all the cars pass you by. You got up, you got back in the driver's seat. But one thing you didn't do is you didn't just go into drive. So what I call going into drive is you get up, you go into drive, you get back on the highway or the freeway, and you just go with the flow. No, you get back up, you get in the car, you put your foot down, and you go to A, which is accelerate. Because now that you've been knocked down, you're saying to yourself, you want to distance yourself from what just happened to you
Mm-hmm.
as fast as you can. You put the foot down and you do whatever you have to do to get to where you want to go a lot faster. And I always say to people, why do you think on the windscreen you see all the bugs and the insects? Is because you are knocking them things out of the way, left to right. So if you have a lot of insects on your screen, that means you're going forward. And that means that you must be accelerating at a very, very fast pace. So when I decided I wanted to write the book, I was like, I did Googling, I spoke to authors, I said, right, how long does it take to write a book? What's required? And I'll say 90% of the people I spoke to said it took them 12 months, 2 years to write a book.
Mm-hmm.
And I said to myself, no, no, I'm going to accelerate. So I was able to really knock out my book, 40,000 words, probably in less than a month.
Wow, that's the fastest I've ever heard.
And I can tell you why. Is because I believe that at the stage that I was at that particular time, had lost a major international position with a company. My beautiful dog of 18 years had died this year. I had some relationships, some friends in my life who my life started to go downhill. They just ran the hills. I had a cancer scare. Everything had seemed to just hit me at one time. My wife, my daughter, my grandkids, they were my rock. And I looked at my life and said, okay, all that stuff has hit me. Why now? Why did all this hit me now? And it came back to because you're meant to use that to do something for other people's lives.
Mm-hmm.
Write the book. Write the book now and write it while you're hurting. I mean, I'm typing, it's rolling down my face. I'm typing, I'm shaking, I'm nervous, I'm reliving everything. I finished the book, I look back, and I can tell you right now, I can't even remember how I did it.
You were in a zone.
But, girl, I was in the zone. I was in the zone. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So just submit the 40,000 words to my editor this morning, and he called me and said, I can't believe you were able to do that. He said, we're going to get started. So in February, the book will be out to be on Amazon. It'll be through my website. We'll have a good distribution based on social media. The book is going to change some lives.
Amazing, amazing. Eric, what is the definition of greatness? What is your definition
Whoa.
of greatness?
Greatness for me is doing what you have to do without stepping on anyone, without harming anyone, without compromising your values and your beliefs, without trying to pull someone down so that you can get on top of them. That's what I consider greatness. And when I think back to, businessmen, entrepreneurs, celebrities, athletes, there have been a lot of successful people, but there have been very, very few great people. Mm-hmm. Great people to me are someone who is full of greatness, is a type of person you want to sit down with and you want to pick their brains. You want to be in their company. You want to watch them on the court. You want to watch them off the court. You want to have dinner with them. You want to talk to them about their mindset, their beliefs. And I believe that greatness is something that we all started with, but along the lines, we were poisoned. We fit into a society and a culture where people said, in order to be great, you need to step on someone, or you need to be, you need to go against your beliefs and your value system. And I don't call those people great. I call people great the people who do it the right way, with humility, with care, with understanding, and know that their greatness is not just in what they do, but their greatness is who they are.
Beautiful. Eric, I had another question about coaching. So a lot of people
Yes.
don't take actions because of the fear of anything, of rejection, fear of success. How do you get rid of fear, or what do you do with that?
Okay. So you have your A game, which we know from, say, report cards. If you get a whole bunch of A's, then you've done very well. From grade 1 to grade 5, I got a lot of F's, and I called the F's my F game. So for a very long time, my F game was fear, it was failure, it was forgetfulness, it was falseness. Now, as a coach, the one thing that I'm trying to do with people is saying, okay, fear and falseness and forgetfulness is all about you are now holding on to the negative parts of your life, all the things that you didn't do. In order to get away from fear, is I help people to go back and remember all of the great things that they've ever done, whether it's been very small or very big, because most people will always conjure up all the negative stuff that you've done in your life. Hey, I remember that time you lost that basketball game. I remember the time, you had that car accident, or you got that divorce, or I remember the time that, you flunked out of school. How you going right now? Well, I like to replace that and have people talk about, hey, I remember that time when you won that beauty contest, or, you scored that 10 points in the last 3 minutes of the game. So if you can replace the self-talk in here, if you can change your songs, you change the verses, change the words that you speak, change your thought process, and start concentrating on all of the real good things that happen to you, you now start to believe that you can rise above the negativity and elevate to the great things that you've done. Because we've all done it. We've all succeeded in life, but we forget about it because of life and because of our environment.
Wonderful. Is there anything else, Eric, you would like to add that we didn't cover yet?
Look, the only thing I would like to add is that the message that I would like to get to anyone who's watching this particular interview, or they read the magazine, is that I am a living, walking example of what can happen if you believe. Now, there's a lot of cliches about believing yourself and all that stuff, but I'm talking about really believe. No one in my neighborhood or my family would have ever imagined that a little kid with a bone disease in his knees, had trouble reading as a kid, was failing out of primary school, parents had left him, lived in the hood during the Watts riots, was beaten up at school all the time. No one would ever believe that someone like that would now be an international speaker, working with Fortune 500 companies, traveling the world. How can that happen? I mean, what has to happen for someone to make that transition? Now, I know that there are people out there who had worse lives than me and have a much, a more dramatic story. I'm not trying to compare that, but what I'm trying to say is I've proven that it doesn't matter where you start. It doesn't matter what people thought. It doesn't matter what's going on in your life. You can always elevate. And I want to get my message to people out there who are sitting in an audience, to a CEO who are saying, my staff, they're underperforming. They're just not raising the bar. They just don't believe in themselves. I mean, my message resonates with people all walks of life, all nationalities, all races. It doesn't matter. Look, I'm from the hood. I would love to come back to, South Central Los Angeles, to Chicago, to New York. And I'd love to go into neighborhoods and to areas and to companies and say, hey, listen, this is what's possible. And I have the steps and I can help you do that. So wherever people are listening to this, that's my core. That's what I want to do.
Beautiful. That's amazing. And
I'm through. I'm through. I'm through. I'm through with you.